How's everyone doing tonight? How's everyone doing tonight? Welcome here to Champs Americana here at the Columbia Mall. We have a special presentation for you tonight. My name is Lake Lewis, NFL media member, cover the Washington Redskins. We have a Redskins player joining us tonight and a Baltimore Ravens player. On the far end, we have Redskins running back Chris Thompson. In the middle, we have Baltimore Ravens quarterback Tyrod Taylor. We talk to these gentlemen up here. We try not to stir it up too much, but we have a lot of fun with them. Talk about some things near and dear to them. How many of you are ACC football fans? None. That's what I thought. We're going to talk with them a little bit about ACC football after we talk to them about their teams. A little bit later on, we're going to bring in from Comcast Sportsnet, Mr. Rob Carlin's joining us tonight. We have Mr. Curtis Etherly, who is from Coca-Cola, who we want to first and foremost give a special thanks to for presenting this show tonight. And then also, we're going to bring in Heather Saffield, who's the GM here at Champs Americana. As she says herself, she's a Baltimore gal. She loves the Baltimore sports scene, so we'll have her come on with us a little bit later on as well. So this weekend could not have been a better weekend for both of you, for us, as far as this broadcast, because we haven't seen both of you win at the same time. So Redskins had a nail-biter of a game, and the Ravens had a blowout yesterday. So we'll get into that. Hey, fans, as always, if you want to chime in, if you want to ask any questions, please do. We want this to be an interactive show with you. We're not afraid to speak to you, and hopefully you're not afraid to speak to us. Also, if you want to get any pictures or autographs, by all means, feel free to do so. I don't think we have any autograph situations here, right? No. You guys didn't do that in college, did you? No. I'm just teasing Chris. Florida State guy down there on the end. We'll talk about that briefly, too. So, again, folks, please chime in when you get a chance. So, let's start with Tyrod. Yesterday, big win for you guys. 5-2 right now. Is this the way you expected this season to go? Because it seems like you guys are getting better each week.
And that's the goal. We know that we have a talented team. The goal, like you said, was to get better each and every week. And we're just trying to put the pieces together and hopefully be better each game going forward and try to get things right for the playoffs this year.
You know, the Ravens are a team that is built – they're built with young talent, you know, and you guys grow together. You brought in some guys this offseason that – you know, some of them are starting to make their way now. From a talent level, would you say that this team has the same amount of talent just across the board as a team that when you won the Super Bowl 2 years ago?
Actually, across the board, I think we're more talented, actually. But like I said, we're still young. When we won the Super Bowl, we were probably more experienced, older guys, more leadership. But like you said, it's a lot of talent on this team, and I think throughout the preseason, we showed that we had young talent, and throughout this, the first 7 games so far, we've showed that we have a lot of talent on the team.
You know, one of the things that I said to myself I was going to ask you, I want to get it out the way now. You're a guy that when you see the way quarterbacks are playing now in the league, mobile quarterbacks, you know, RG3 in Washington, Russell Wilson, you're a guy that was doing this before those guys. You know, you were doing it at Virginia Tech, and you're here in Baltimore. You could have had other opportunities, I'm sure, you know, to play some other places. What makes it special for you here in Baltimore?
Just the love that they show towards me. Of course, you have to be ready at any given time, whether it's another team or the team that you're with to play. But that's my job right now, is just to maintain that readiness, that whenever my number is called, that I can go out there and compete and play at a high level for any team. But, of course, right now for the Ravens.
Are you and Joe Flacco, you have a close relationship?
Yeah, that's my boy. Like I said, we've been here. I've been here 4 years, and we've built a good bond over the last couple of years, and we're good friends.
All right, Chris, you guys got a good win this weekend. Painful for us in the media to watch, but nevertheless, a W is a W. You're a guy that we talked about this sometimes off the air. You know, you're coming from Florida State. You're coming from a super strong program, and in high school, you think you said you lost 3 games your whole time there. You've lost more games with the Redskins than you lost in your whole entire life leading up to this. How tough is it for a young guy when you've come from success?
It's frustrating, and I think it's even more frustrating for me because at this point I can't do anything about it.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of things out of my control, and it's frustrating just watching it. Being in the locker room after those losses and everything. It's frustrating, and I'm glad we could finally get a win so we can just get a taste of it again. And
you show your face around town a little bit.
Yeah.
There's a flip side to this. I mean, with both you guys, Chris, coming here, tough situation. You guys, you have a Super Bowl. You have an expectation up here that if you don't go to the Super Bowl, it's a letdown. You come from success too. Your senior year, you guys won ACC championship. Chris remembers that game very well. A win against Florida State. Did you feel like coming to this organization was just a great fit for you?
Definitely. You can't control what organization you end up coming to out of college, but it was definitely the similar tradition as far as a winning tradition and people expecting success from you. The Baltimore Ravens is a great organization to be a part of, and I'm proud to be a part of it.
Did you have a lot of teammates here from college? Anyone that you were familiar with?
When I first got there, a receiver named Justin Harper that I played with at college was there with me in Baltimore. But since then, it hasn't been too many other Tech guys come through.
Is that a bad thing?
They're somewhere. So as long as they're somewhere playing and living out their dream, that's the plus.
Playing at a high level. Now, two of Chris's former teammates at Florida State are playing with you now.
Yeah.
And, they were guys that won a national championship last year, Terrence Brooks and Timmy Jernigan. What do you think for them right now?
They're playing well, and they have big roles on our defense. Terrence has been playing and rotating a lot with the safeties, and Timmy has just came back off an injury this past week, and he's out there playing at a high level. And we're going to need them throughout this year. Just the depth that we have on this team as far as talent-wise, I think that we can use those guys and we can be special this year.
Chris, did you know that those guys were going to be impact players at the next level?
Yeah, no doubt. I had no question about it. Just playing with those guys for 3 years and seeing the work that they put in each and every day. I knew whenever they got to this level that they would make a huge impact, and it's only going to get better for those guys.
Now, do you guys remember each other in college at all?
Yeah, we played my senior year. What year?
I was a sophomore.
Yeah. So my senior year, we played down in Charlotte for the ACC championship, freezing rain. It was a good game though. My boy EJ was actually quarterbacking him at the time.
And Chris speaks highly of EJ too. I think they kind of did him wrong up there, but that's a whole nother subject for a whole nother day. But when you go back to that game, was the speed of Florida State something that you were surprised with, or?
No, watching them on film, that they had a bunch of talent on the field. I've only played them twice in my career. We played 3 games. One of them I got hurt the first game of the year.
Mm-hmm.
The first snap of the game. But my freshman year, we played them in Lane Stadium. We was able to win. That was the first time Coach Beamer had ever beat Coach Bobby Bowden. My sophomore, we go down to their place, and like I said, I get injured the first play of the game, couldn't come back. So junior year didn't play them. The senior year was just looking forward to that game, and we was able to play them at a game that meant the most. So.
Yep.
Just Chris has told me, we talked about this. He said that when sometimes they came up north and played guys, they weren't expecting to see a whole lot of speed out there. But there's certain guys though that when you played against them, did you know Tyrod was from Virginia?
I didn't know.
Did you think he was from Florida?
Yeah.
See, that's like this myth that all the guys from up north are slow. And you kind of threw me under the bus earlier when you said that about the Big Ten, that it was slow football. But
I just think that's the perception of it.
but
not
you
saying
said it.
Not every. I definitely think that, but not every team is slow. They have fast players, but overall perception of the Big Ten.
Would you say Ohio State slow?
We beat Ohio State this year.
Oh, man, that was kind of bad for me to throw that out there, wasn't it? Man. And I did say Michigan State, but, that's messed up. When you think of SEC football, do you guys think speed or just power?
Kind of a combination of both.
What about Pac-12? Oregon, that's just.
No, just a fast break offense. Actually, I don't really view them as a defensive team. I don't think they win when it counts. I mean, they put up stats and stuff throughout the year, but when it counts, they're not ready for the big game.
Ooh,
They just lost on like a Thursday night the other night.
Yeah, they did. See, he's trying to catch me now. He's trying to catch me. So, do you think Florida State is legitimately one of the top 4 teams in the country? Legitimately.
Yeah. Yes, I do. I'm
Yes,
pretty
I
sure
do.
he does.
Yeah,
They have to be. I mean, they have to be. I mean, that was a big win against Notre Dame. I'll ask you first, Tyrod, because I already know Chris's answer on this one. Do you think that the call at the end of the game was warranted?
I think it was the right call.
ACC guys, man, that's all day. They want to go somewhere for a bowl game. That's what that is. I do think that the receiver for Notre Dame could have sold it better.
Yeah.
Had he sold it better, they probably wouldn't have called it. I actually think the reason why they did call it because the dude was just so wide open. I saw some of your D-backs on Florida State actually talking to each other as if it was a busted coverage. Mm-hmm. But anyway, so you would put Florida State one of your top 4. Mississippi, top 4?
Right now, they are playing like it.
Yeah, I agree.
Mississippi State.
I actually like Mississippi State over Mississippi. But
is it fair that they're going to play each other final game of the season in the Egg Bowl in Mississippi? That's the Egg Bowl. I don't think anybody here wants to be there. But you have Mississippi State versus Mississippi. Is it fair that one of those teams that loses not only may miss the Final Four, so to speak, but they won't even play in the SEC championship game? Do you penalize that team that loses? That's tough, right?
Yeah, it's definitely tough. I mean, it's a fault in the system, but I think over the years, over the next couple of years, it'll get better, and they'll be able to figure their way. Because there's so much talent out there, I think they'll be able to figure a way to get the best teams to play. But right now, I think it's kind of a trial process. I think that it'll be more than 4 teams in the playoffs soon.
What would you think, though? I think the game's at Mississippi State. So what happens if Mississippi goes in there and they lose a 21-20 type game, defensive brawl, just a good football game? Do they drop beyond 4 from 2?
No, I don't see it happening like that, especially in the SEC. I mean, you look at LSU and Bama, a couple years ago, how that all worked out. So.
But can you legitimately put a team that did not play for their conference championship as one of the Final 4 teams?
Didn't Alabama do that a couple years ago?
They did, but it wasn't a 14 playoff either.
I don't know. It's a bunch of questions that I have. Just Texas A&M was still ranked in the top 25 after losing 2 in a row. So. So they've fallen out completely. So, look, folks, we're going to take a break. And when we come back, I'm going to let these guys get something to eat real quick and relax. I'm going to bring in Curtis Etherly, Heather Saffield. We'll have a short segment with them. We'll get these guys back on. We're going to have Rob Carlin on from Comcast Sportsnet again. If you have any questions, feel free to fire up. Let us know what's on your mind. We'll take a break. We'll be back.
Do you have an idea for a new product or invention? Hi, I'm George Foreman. People ask me all the time, George, how do I get my idea in front of companies? How do I get a patent? What do I do next? Do you have the same questions? I'll tell you like I'll tell them all. Call my friends at InventHelp.
InventHelp has been helping inventors for more than 30 years and has sales offices nationwide. InventHelp can provide patent referrals and submit your invention to companies who are interested in receiving new ideas. If you have an idea and want to try to patent it and submit it to companies, you should call InventHelp today for free information.
Listen, I can't guarantee a company will be interested in your idea, but I believe every inventor deserves the opportunity to step into the ring and take their best shot. Put InventHelp in your corner.
Call now. Free information for inventors. 1-800-455-7790. 1-800-455-7790.
When you have credit card debt, the debt suckers, high rate and high pay are everywhere.
Ooh, they're making another minimum payment. Great. Most of the money goes to us. We'll suck the life out of them.
Because your credit card rates are so high, you can't get rid of the debt suckers alone.
Their minimum payments are in vain. No. Oh, that's juicy.
But one call to Consolidated Credit can get the debt suckers off your neck.
Thank you for calling Consolidated Credit.
Oh no, they lower his rates and consolidate his bills into one low payment. He'll pay off his debt in no time. Consolidated Credit drives us batty.
Call Consolidated Credit now. Call now and get your life back.
Oh, because debt sucks.
Call now.
Call Consolidated Credit at 1-800-599-8702. 1-800-599-8702. That's 1-800-599-8702. Call now.
Medical emergencies.
This is Life Alert. Are you okay?
I've fallen and I can't get up.
I'm calling for help right now. Sharon, we received a smoke signal coming from your kitchen. Get out now. We're calling the fire department.
Home invasion. Emergencies away from home.
I'm trying to get to my car, but it's still a ways away.
I'm right here and we'll stay on the line with you and we can contact the police if necessary.
And you can have this protection away from home for just $19.95 per month.
If it weren't for Life Alert, I wouldn't be sitting here today.
Life Alert saves a life from a catastrophe every 11 minutes.
For a free Life Alert brochure, call 1-800-830-1951. That's 1-800-830-1951. Call now, 1-800-830-1951. For a free brochure, call 1-800-830-1951.
Want whiter teeth in 5 minutes? Then you want Power Swabs. Coffee, tea, or smoking stains start to fade in just 5 minutes. Power Swabs lift stains off your teeth for true whitening. They're clinically proven to whiten your teeth on average 2 shades in 5 minutes. After 7 days, your teeth will be an average 6 shades whiter. Power Swabs even work on caps, crowns, veneers, and bonding, so all your teeth will be movie star white. Order now to try Power Swabs risk-free. Satisfaction is guaranteed, but you won't find this offer in any store, so order now. Try Power Swabs risk-free now.
Here, Heather Saffield, so you got to give her a big hand. That was your staff. The folks in here eating good food, you've got to give Heather Saffield right now a nice GM welcome. How about that? That's more like it. To her left, we have Mr. Curtis Etherly, who's the Director of Public Affairs and Communications with Coca-Cola, who's one of our presenting sponsors tonight. And Curtis, as always, it's a pleasure to have you come out. This is a guy that I've known for a couple years now, and we've talked a lot on the phone, a whole lot on the phone, done some business over the phone, but to have him come out live in person, the infamous Curtis Etherly joins us. So it's an honor to have you join Heather and myself.
Welcome.
Thank you. Welcome, Heather.
This is a special occasion. Obviously, we're going to bring the players back on after this segment, but this is an important segment. One of the things that I'm excited about is naturally Heather's establishment here is a Coca-Cola seller, if you want to call it that. How do I say that?
Coke products all day.
All right, so Coke products, and then you have Curtis from Coca-Cola. So I think it's a great tandem here, a good dynamic duo we have joining us. Curtis, Coca-Cola is they're pushing your health and wellness right now. And I know, you've done some things with the Baltimore Ravens. Tomorrow you'll be in Washington with the Redskins. I see you have the heart on. Can you tell some of our patrons in here more about Coca-Cola's health and wellness?
Sure, Lake. Thank you so much, first of all, for having me. It's a pleasure to be here. Heather, it's so good to be here with you.
Our pleasure.
A great customer here at Champs Americana. At Coca-Cola, when we talk about health and wellness, we want to be sure that each and every one of our consumers understand that there's an opportunity to enjoy a healthy option, an option whatever your desire may be. If you want a low or no calorie beverage, we have that as part of the Coca-Cola portfolio. So first and foremost, we want to be sure that our consumers have choice, that they're able to make educated and informed decisions. That's why we were one of the first beverage companies to introduce front-of-pack labeling so consumers can understand the caloric content of beverages that they may be selecting. But what's really important and so exciting about being here with you and with Heather here at Champs Americana is that we're also enlisting our customers to support that message. So when you look at partners like the Washington Redskins, when you look at partners like the Baltimore Ravens, we have engaged with those two storied franchises to help emphasize health and wellness messages for our young people. And as you mentioned, we'll be at Redskins Park tomorrow in Ashburn with over 150 young people who will get a chance to meet players, coaches, team staff, talking about health and wellness and hearing from some great athletes on the Washington football team.
You know, it's something that we've pursued for a while, you know, to do something with Coca-Cola, and I couldn't think of a better initiative, you know. And then just in talking with Heather, you know, when she mentioned that, yeah, you know, we have Coke products here, I was like, you know what, this is perfect occasion for you to come out.
That's Americana right there, Coca-Cola.
Absolutely, you know, and you know, we're actually continuing this through Heather as well. I want to thank her because she put us in contact with the you know, Champs Americana in Pentagon City down in Arlington, Virginia. On November 3rd, I'll be there with Darrell Young from the Redskins. Curtis will have come out as well. Miss Diane Cheeseborough will be there as well. So, you know, we want to raise awareness for this, and we want to keep pushing this great cause. And my thing is, a lot of times over the years, Coca-Cola, people looked at it as that red can, you know, and I'm sure that there's some parents out there that don't let their kids drink soda. We have a child, you know, that doesn't drink a lot of soda, but you guys have other products and other great products. Can you tell our patrons in here about those products as well?
Well, absolutely, Lake. When you come to a restaurant like Champs Americana, you look on your menu, you have Dasani water, you have Diet Coke, you may have Coca-Cola Zero as an option. Whatever your choice may be, if you're a tea drinker, we have Honest Tea. Those of you familiar here in the Maryland market, Honest Tea is a local homegrown product born in Bethesda, Maryland. So we have a ton of options, over 150 no and low calorie options as a matter of fact. And when Heather's customers come to her and they sit down and they look at a menu, they want to have choice, whether it's choice in terms of the menu selections, the entrees, the salads, the soups, the desserts. Heather gives them choice, and we want to be sure as a partner of Heather's that we give her choice as well.
The menu here, by the way, is outstanding.
It's scratch.
Yeah, and she told me that the first day we met, she gave us some food, and I'm like, yeah, we will definitely be coming back here. I make it a point to eat after the show, just, you know.
Well, there is pumpkin cheesecake.
Ooh.
Yeah, listen, the staff still talks about pumpkin cheesecake. When does that start?
That might be.
They might need some Diet Coke or some healthy alternatives once they have the pumpkin. Yes.
Pumpkin cheesecake sounds like it'll be bedtime for me afterwards.
Yeah, it's
may have to try that out tonight.
A slice of heaven for sure.
You two are huge sports fans, and you're local people. Curtis from DC, Heather, as she says all the time, Baltimore gal. Great weekend for the sports scene here after kind of a tough, you know, last couple weeks. You know, Redskins losing, Nats losing, Orioles losing. It's been tough. So just for both the teams yesterday to get good quality wins, you know, it made tonight a lot easier for all of us.
Agreed. I mean, the Orioles, that was a hard that's a hard 4 game to swallow.
But they've progressed. I mean, if you look at
think about that.
They won a series. They lost it last year to the Yankees, so there is some progression there. If you're the Nationals, best record in the regular season yet again. I think people will sign up for this stuff if you tell them that the Orioles will go to the AL, divisional game, playoff series, that the Nationals would have the best record in the National League, and you're a fan and you can sign up for it. You don't know what the outcome is, but you can sign up, and that's a given. You're going to take that all year, every year.
I think we were hoping. I mean, I know Pentagon and I both were hoping for the Battle of the Beltways, and I think we talked about that. The last interview was.
We were.
How is that going to work out if this happens? And we were both like, it is not going to stink.
It would have been good for business for everyone.
Well, it's not just that momentum. I mean, speaking, in terms of DC,
yeah,
Baltimore, you're talking about economically areas that we haven't had a really good momentum for a sports team, except for the Super Bowl with the Ravens in a long time.
Yeah.
So for us to get 2 teams moving, that momentum right there was awesome.
Well, I mean, I think that they could be odds-on favorites next year to maybe make that happen. I think those teams are young. There's a lot of pieces in place, so I don't see a drop-off.
Oh, no, I don't. I don't either.
And I think Heather hits on something that's really important. oftentimes people don't want to talk about Washington, D.C. as a sports city.
No.
Or our region as a sports city. When you think about the big markets like a New York or Chicago or Los Angeles, people forget that we have tradition here, whether it's the Ravens and their most recent Super Bowl victories or the storied tradition of the Washington franchise. What's exciting about sports here in the region now is that there's a lot to look forward to.
A whole
Whether
lot.
you're a Nats fan, an Orioles fan, most certainly there's recent history for the Washington Redskins turning things around.
Yeah.
So let's not think that for a moment the season is over here in Washington or out in Ashburn. These guys are going to fight until the end, and there may very well be another 7, 8, or 9 game winning streak in them. I'm going to hold out hope because I'm a lifelong Washingtonian and a fan.
Hey, I'm a media member down there. You're taking it further than me, but you know what? There's still some football to be played. When Rob Carlin comes on with me, we'll get his take on that. We're down there every day, and again, just for them to get a win, it's quality. The Ravens, obviously, theirs was a lot easier, and they look like a team that at 5-2, they're kind of still they're under the radar still. I do know that the 5 wins were against teams that don't have winning records. However, a win is a win, and in this league, they're hard to come by. So for them to be at 5-2 and playing football where you can see that they're getting better and they're progressing every week, the whole situation happened earlier in the year. It seems like that's something now behind a lot of guys. It's not the circus that it was in Owings Mills for a couple of weeks. Hopefully a win in Washington has taken the pressure off those guys to just know what it is to win again. Sometimes you lose sight of that. We do understand that when Rob and myself go back to practice on Wednesday, it's going to be a new circus, and the circus is their quarterback, RG3, is he going to be practicing and playing against the Cowboys? My answer to all of that is a resounding absolutely yes.
If you look at the internet, that's a big slice of pie right there. People talking about, the Redskins and Cowboys, how they were the underdogs. I mean, you're talking about franchises that were maybe speaking out of turn, but 20 years ago were the top of the food chain.
Yeah,
the Raiders, you have the Cowboys, the Redskins, whatever. But everybody has their time. But
the Cowboys are 6-1, so and looking pretty good.
But for a long time, they didn't have a piece of that pie either.
They struggled.
But people forget also when we lost before the Ravens even came back to Baltimore, before we had an NFL franchise, most of Baltimore went to Redskins because people like my husband who were diehard, Baltimore born and bred fans had no football. So we, migrated, and it's really not a migration. You're talking about 50 miles going to D.C. We're still in the same state, give or take. So a lot of people, that's a split culture right there, the Redskins and the Ravens.
A lot of people from Baltimore commute to D.C. A lot of people in D.C. commute to Baltimore.
Here in Columbia, that's a big,
absolutely.
That's a big, diverse community.
You're kind of in the halfway mark where Coca-Cola's positioned, actually. You're at the Hanover area, so that's kind of like a mutual halfway mark.
When you look at our more than 2,000 associates here in Maryland, half of them probably are in the Baltimore market and are Ravens fans, and a significant number of them are DC fans. At the end of the day, there's enough love to go around, there are enough seats to go around, there are enough storylines to go around in terms of what these teams could accomplish this year, potentially. And again, it's an uphill road, perhaps, for Washington, but that's okay. I think they're up for the challenge. One of the things I want to be sure to talk about is we're very blessed that when you look at players like Chris Thompson or Tyrod and what they do in the community, all of these players are very much illustrative of really, I think, a much larger philosophy that many of these organizations bring to bear in the markets that they serve. We talk a lot, or I should say, you in the media talk a lot about high character guys who bring something
to the field. You can't win without them. You can't.
And we're just blessed to have so many players across all of these franchises who give of themselves in the community through foundation work. Again, we're going to be with a number of players tomorrow out at Redskin Park in Ashburn, and I just can't say thank you enough, whether it's Redskins, Ravens, Nats players, Capitals players. They turn out each and every week to support the community, interact with our school and our young people, and it's just a wonderful honor and a privilege to work with many of them. And, of course, with members of the media who do just as much, like you here at Sports Journey.
We try. We want to be one of those outlets that people know that again, I told Tyrod when he sat up here, said, you don't have to worry about me stirring the pot. That's just not my style. It's not what I do. Rob mentioned the same thing. Listen, we're at the end of the day, this is our profession, but we're still fans. We still respect what these guys do on the field. And I tell people all the time, it's our job to report good and bad. But at the end of the day, there's probably not two people sitting in here outside of those two guys that can do what they do. And I think if you respect
Monday
that,
morning quarterbacking.
I mean, so you understand, it's.
Yeah, well,
I remember
I have
Flacco.
one of those at home.
Yeah, but you remember Joe.
We call it sofa quarterbacking.
Yeah, think about it.
Anybody
Couch,
can sit in front of their
that's what it
computer
is.
and sit on their couch. And my daughter said it succinctly earlier. Daddy yells at the TV a lot. But the point is, he is not on the field. None of us
you can't, when you're sitting in the press box, you can't, we get it all the time. And actually, we get it from the guy who's going to be coming on in a few minutes all the time as in-house PA announcer. Also, we get it all the time. Please remember, this is a working environment. Every now and then a play will happen where you just can't help but go, wow. But for the most part, we kind of lost the fandom a long time ago, and it's tough. It really is, because you find yourself wanting to root for a team in general. Because let's face it, if the Skins win, if the Ravens win, it's good for us. It gives us more to talk about, more to cover.
It's good for the economy.
It's good for the economy, for the
good
cities.
For morale, for
absolutely, everybody wants a piece of that.
Cities that don't have a lot to cheer for. Your team starts winning. DC and Baltimore, unemployment rates, and they have nothing to cheer for, and their teams are winning. That's a win.
It's also this whole region now has become, if not the wealthiest region in the United States. It's one of the top three.
Third.
Yeah, so with that said, that there's some stressors, with people in their professions. The commute here, the traffic is a stressor. So a lot of times I think people have forgotten, they've lost sight of the fact that sports is their outlet, not another stressor for you. And I think sometimes, being at the games, you hear fans say some awful things, and you think to yourself, you're supposed to be here for entertainment. Don't take it home with you at the end of the day. Win, lose, or draw, you can't take it home with you. Unfortunately, people do that, but I do think that when you win, as Heather, you've alluded to, people are happy about that. Food tastes better in champs when, Coca-Cola drinks taste better going down when you get a win.
They do, but at the end of the day, you have to have something positive to cheer for. And if you lose, then that's also something positive, because then you gain your morale and your momentum, and you come back and everybody's talking about what they're going to do better. A lot of people turn the TV off at the end of when you're listening to the coaches. I like to listen to the coaches because they're talking about, what did I learn from this? And they're bringing back all the positive, all the things that everybody did better that game.
Yeah. I do have to ask you a question, because we do know what's coming on next, and are there any Steelers fans here? Good. Okay.
You might be like if you were here yesterday, it would have been awkward.
Oh wow.
Well, because in Columbia, like you said, we are a very diverse. If you come here on Sundays, if you were to ask one of my managers, it's not Ravens, it's not Redskins. It is like a dot matrix of groups. We have Dolphins, we have Cowboys, we have a nice group of Steelers fans. And they all play nice. They all play nice. I actually preferred coming from a background where it was a lot of Ravens. That was comfortable for me, because of course, I grew up with it. But, at the same time, when you walk into a bar and you can feel comfortable, a lot of times you can't. If you were to go to Ocean City, for example, and go to the Salty Dog, that's a Steelers bar. My husband and I walked in there, and, it was great because they were welcoming, but that's not always the case. So you got to find a place that you can go. It's going to sell a product that's familiar, like Coca-Cola, or you're going to go somewhere where you're not going to know what's going to happen.
Cool.
So.
Well, look, folks, you're getting too natural at this. Doesn't she look comfortable? She's done this enough.
Very comfortable. Lake, feel free to take a break.
Hey,
Heather and I will
it'd be nice,
segment,
go get some of this great food. Well, look, I want to thank both of you for just helping our platform at Sports Journey. we've been doing this for a while now, really pushing, and to have two great brands like yourselves and Champs and Coca-Cola really helping us and push us. This is an honor for me to have both of you sitting here and together, makes it just doubly special for me.
Super, super excited.
So, we've got some great things lined up, and, we want to keep this ball rolling and keep it going. And, again, for everyone out there, health and wellness of Coca-Cola, it's a lot of stuff. It really is. And Curtis, I mentioned to you before, do you guys have a specific site for the health and wellness?
We just invite any of our consumers, anyone who's interested in learning more about what we do at Coca-Cola, be it health and wellness, sustainability, please just visit www.coca-cola.com. You'll be able to find all the information and more that you could ever want to learn about what we do at Coca-Cola, most of which here in this region is produced right up the street in Baltimore.
Awesome.
Yeah, Coca-Cola Drive, right up the street, I believe.
Yes. And then, of course, Heather, I want to thank you for coming on. Folks,
Pleasure.
Don't go anywhere. We're going to bring the guys back on. We're also going to bring on Rob Carlin, Comcast Sportsnet, good friend, made his way out tonight. So hang tight. We will be back.
The new Miracle Blade World Class 2012 Professional Series is the best set of knives you'll ever own. The spectacular World Class 2012 Series, over a $300 value for just $39.95. But we're just getting started. We'll send you a complete second set of Miracle Blades for free. That's right, another entire set, a $300 value for free. Just pay shipping and processing. And we're still not done. If you're one of the first 500 callers, we'll send you 2 additional Miracle Blade World Class Slicers. That's an additional $80 value, totally free. Miracle Blade World Class is also guaranteed for life. We'll replace any damaged knife at any time for any reason for free forever. Over $600 worth of knives for just one payment of $39.95. Don't miss this opportunity. Call right now or just log on to miracleblade.com.
Do you want whiter teeth in 5 minutes? Then you want Power Swabs, the clinically proven way to instantly have bright white teeth in just 5 minutes. Coffee, tea, or smoking stains are no match for Power Swabs. The secret is a tooth detergent developed by Dr. Martin Ginniger that lifts yellow stains off of your teeth in just 5 minutes, revealing a bright white smile. Power Swabs are clinically proven to whiten your teeth on average 2 shades whiter in just 5 minutes. After 7 days, your teeth will be on average 6 shades whiter, guaranteed. Order today and you can try Power Swabs risk-free. Power Swabs even work on caps, crowns, veneers, and bonding, so all your teeth will be movie star white.
With just one treatment, I saw what I want my smile to look like. I saw the brightness that should be there when I smile.
I love to laugh. I'm a very happy person, and with Power Swabs, I get the white smile that I want.
Call or go online right now to try Power Swabs absolutely risk-free. So you must order now. Get your teeth whiter in just 5 minutes with Power Swab. Call to try Power Swabs risk-free now.
Southerly from Coca-Cola for joining us last segment. We've had Chris Thompson from the Washington Redskins, running back, was on with us the first segment, along with Tyrod Taylor, quarterback for the Baltimore Ravens. Tyrod's back with us now, and also to his left we have a gentleman, really doesn't need an introduction here in Baltimore, from Comcast Sportsnet, Rob Carlin. What's going on, man?
It's good to be here. Yeah, covered the Ravens for a long time. Now I'm on the other side with the Redskins, so getting a little bit of both.
Little different coverage, to say the least.
Little different coverage, yes. A little different atmosphere.
Don't want to get in trouble because we have to be there on Wednesday together. We can talk Ravens now. How about that? We talked with Tyrod earlier just about the Ravens at 5-2 right now, on the upward trajectory. Look like a team that they're starting to get a lot of the pieces together here. Does this team, Rob, look eerily similar to the team that 2 years ago just started to find themselves as they went along?
Well, I think that the defense is starting to get back to where we've seen the defense. And, I covered that Super Bowl when you guys won in New Orleans, and it was a phenomenal experience, and it was great. Brent Harris, who I work with at Comcast, the Ravens reporter, literally at the end of the game got in a golf cart with Ray Lewis and did an interview, literally the final ride for Ray Lewis after that. But you just sort of looked at that defense and said, Ray Lewis, as great as he was, Hall of Famer, Ed Reed, as great as he was, Hall of Famer, you knew there had to be a drop-off. No matter what their production was at that time, there had to be a drop-off and find that next wave of guys. And now we're seeing it, the Jimmy Smiths of the world, the new wave of guys that are starting to get that Ravens defense back to that level. And that's always been Ravens football. You win with defense, you run the ball, play smart, beat up every other team you come up against.
Tyrod, do you sense that? I mean, I know you're an offensive guy, but do you sense that there is starting to be a mystique again about the defense where maybe you see some wide eyes now running across the middle?
Yes, definitely. Like you said, Jimmy is playing at a high level right now. We have a couple rushers that are playing at a very high level. You have Dumaville, who has I think 6 sacks right now. You have Sis on one side is playing very well. Pernell McPhee in his contract year playing well. I think he has 4 sacks, and Halodi's always been playing well. Brandon Williams also down there. And just like you said, the guys in the secondary, the young linebacker, C.J. Mosley, is playing out of his mind right now. So just trying to, like you said, put everything together. We know it's early on in the season. It's going to be highs and lows, but we just need to continue to keep capitalizing on these wins and learning from each week.
You said some names that are not household names outside of Charm City. I mean, you think about that.
That's Ravens. That's forever been. That's the lore of Ozzie and Eric DaCosta. They always. Do you, as a player, when you're in the off season, do you go, I have full faith in those guys that they're going to find from first round pick like C.J. Mosley to a guy off the street. Exactly. They're going to find someone that's going to produce.
Exactly. They have a good eye for talent, and they've done a good job of piecing together great teams year in and year out.
How many teams in the NFL right now does this guy start for?
Oh, I'd say there's a good handful of teams, but again, that's the Ravens knowing and understanding what they have, making sure he's there and ready to go when called upon.
And I can safely say this, and we're not saying it because he's sitting here. They don't go by a backup quarterback. You're one of their quarterbacks.
Yeah.
And at any time, a guy who's number 2 technically could be in there at any time. They're comfortable knowing who their number 2 is. They're comfortable knowing that there won't be a significant drop-off from you and Joe Flacco.
Yeah, and I agree.
Like of course.
Like you said, I do agree. But as far as my job, just continue to keep proving to my teammates throughout the preseason or whenever I get a chance and throughout practice, just to let them know, like you said, that there won't be a drop-off, that I could go in and continue to play at a high level and continue to move our offense and lead the team.
I want to ask you, because we all, and now that I'm sort of watching from afar, is the Steve Smith, the swagger that he brings, that anger that he brings on game day, is it a tangible thing for you guys? Do you guys feed off of that?
I wouldn't necessarily say that we feed off of it. The wide receiver group may feed off of it. We love having it on board with us. We know what type of player he is, the type of talent that he brings to the game, and age that doesn't mean anything in his case because he still has a lot of good football left in him, and he's showing it week in and week out.
There's a guy in D.C. that has been inactive a lot of times this year in Santana Moss that a lot of us feel like could be a Steve Smith, type player as far as an impact player. And these are older guys that take care of their bodies that listen, I haven't seen a fall off at all, a drop off in Steve Smith. And I'm sure the Panthers now are starting to rethink themselves a little bit. But this guy came here, and if there ever was a player that I think fit the personality of a team, he was tailor-made for Baltimore. I mean, people talk about Philadelphia being a tough town. Baltimore is a tough town.
Yeah,
Baltimore is blue collar.
I agree. His his style of play definitely fits the Ravens well.
And what he can do for the younger guys, can just show them how to be a professional. Not saying they weren't, but you're talking about a guy that doesn't take a play off. He's playing 110% every play, and you just wonder, how does he do it? How does he put that in him? If you say, okay, he doesn't get the other guys up, maybe the wide receivers. He has to get you guys up if you see him going 110 every play there.
Yeah, like I said, you can always count on him. Like you know what he's going to bring to the table. As far as like a mentality, I think in the quarterback room we pretty much even killed throughout the whole thing. But offense,
that's the quarterbacks.
Offense, the wide receiver group and the linemen definitely feed off his energy, and the defense as well.
I know you're listening to us, but how closely are you watching that Steelers game right now? And when you look at that uniform, what goes through your mind?
Yeah, I'm definitely hoping that they lose tonight.
Yeah. Listen, Ravens, Steelers, you talk about rivalries in the league, and you have to win to have a rivalry, I think.
Yeah.
And I do think that that's one of the top two rivalries in the game. Some people may say San Fran and Seattle's kind of gotten up there.
That's the right now rivalry, but over the last decade?
Yeah, but if you want to see rock'em sock'em football, you want to see old school football, it's not going to be a lot of points scored. There's just no getting around it. Yep. Do you feel that special oomph when the week leading up to the Steeler games?
Definitely. The Steelers week is definitely a different week. Everybody in the town makes you it just makes you angry. I mean, the only game they care about is the Pittsburgh game. I mean,
so you guys could
lose every other game.
2-14.
You don't want to do that,
as long as you got the two against the Steelers.
You better win the ones against the Steelers.
Where would you rate it as a player? Where would you rate that rivalry? Would you say it's number one?
Being a part of it, I think it's number one. Of course, like you said, over the past couple of years, Seattle and San Fran has definitely gotten up there. But I take the Steelers and Ravens game as the number one rivalry.
Who would be the guy in football that you'd pay to watch play? Like, who's that guy where you watch and go, man, I could there are certain guys in the game. Redskins training camp, Tom Brady and the Patriots game.
That was unbelievable.
And we watched him work. We watched him train.
Unbelievable.
And I literally walked away and said, I'd pay to watch that guy play. Luckily, I don't have to, but I'd pay to watch it. Is there a guy that you just are so blown away by that you literally just enjoy watching him?
I wouldn't say one person. I mean, I enjoy watching football. I like all type of players. I can't put my finger on just one person. Of course, with the night that Peyton had last night, it's definitely a special player in this game. I'm a big Brady fan as well. I like Aaron Rodgers. There's a couple guys out there, but
so all quarterbacks though.
Yeah,
Of course. That's a fraternity. The part of Virginia you're from, and you think of everything about Virginia football. Mm-hmm. And where a lot of the talent comes from, most of the big time talent comes from.
Hampton Roads.
Of course, I know he was going to say it, But if you think about where you went to school, Michael Vick was there, his brother Marcus Vick was there. Naturally, you were going to get those comparisons.
Yeah.
It just goes hand in hand. Were you a big Michael Vick fan?
Yes, like we grew up. His neighborhood he grew up in was maybe 10 minutes from where I grew up. So I grew up watching a lot of him. In high school, I don't know if you recognize the name Ronald Curry.
Absolutely.
He went to my high school, so growing up watching Ronald and growing up in the same neighborhood as him, watching him battle.
Great basketball player, too.
Yeah, exactly. Watching him battle with Vic throughout the years. I definitely was a Vic fan when he went to
Iverson fan?
Definitely Iverson fan.
All
those guys. Aaron Brooks from down there.
Wow.
Just so many guys.
New Orleans. I forgot about Aaron Brooks. That's a name from the past. Let me talk about Iverson real quick. The word is, as they say, word on the street, was that better football player than basketball player.
He was definitely a very good football player. He had raw talent, but you could probably put him in any position. He played quarterback in high school. I think if he was to go into the league, it'd probably be a corner.
Yeah.
But
he wouldn't have gotten a shot at quarterback, probably.
Nah, but just a hell of a football player, though.
Wow. I mean, that's just you think of all the players that come from that area, and for a while it was a basketball hotbed. You had Deep Creek, Alonzo Mourning, all those guys coming from down in that area. Yep. And I think Virginia, when people talk about football, and we were talking with Chris about this before, everyone talks about Florida and Texas and California. Virginia, if you look at the numbers.
Yeah, I've always said I put Virginia up against any state in the country as far as football talent. I think across the board, just my area alone puts out talent. You have Percy's, you have Cam Chancellor, one of the top safeties in the league.
I didn't even think of that.
Loaded.
You know?
They're loaded.
I mean, you have a bunch of guys.
You remember those guys in high school?
Yeah, me and Cam played against each other in high school. Me and Percy played against each other. There's so many other names I can't think of right now. But
What'd you think about Percy getting traded?
Mayo.
Oh my God, I forgot about Mayo too. That's crazy.
I mean, that was a shocker.
Yeah, very, very, very surprising. Don't really know the details about it, but I'm excited for him in New York. I think he played well for them up there, and they could definitely use him up there. So looking forward to seeing him dressed up. I think he's wearing, 16 up there, so it'll be interesting to see him in that uniform.
I think they're trying to make sure that Geno Smith is their guy, and I give Michael Vick a lot of credit because I've been saying for every week that he's a better player. However, he's being a good soldier, so to speak. He's accepted, what's going on, and actually I think he's helped what's going on. He understands that it's Geno's time. So maybe Percy Harvin going there, gives them that extra burst on the outside. I do like the young guy. I can't think of his name now, but the guy they have in the slot now, young receiver, has actually played pretty well outside of Eric Decker on the outside. Mm-hmm. So you kind of can put Percy at number 2, so to speak, and you've got yourself a nice, triple tandem there. So we'll see what happens. A little surprised with Chris Johnson, though. I thought, Chris Johnson would do a little bit more.
Yeah, I haven't got a chance to watch a lot of their games. I haven't really kept up with Chris's numbers. I mean, I know he's a very good back. He's played well throughout his time in the league, but maybe I don't know. I can't really say what's the deal with them right now. I know they're looking to turn things around up there.
Is it surprising to you to see Tyrod just laid back, calm? I mean, this is, like you said, the Raven quarterbacks. I mean, it is true. You guys are – it's amazing to me. I mean, if Joe was sitting right here, too, it would be the same. Just like, man, it's just chilling.
Yeah, Joe is interesting to watch because, he looks as boring and as vanilla a person as you can possibly get. But I'll tell you what, when you watch him on the field, I mean, he's everything you want to see in a starting quarterback. And
he's fiery on the field.
He's fiery on the field, and I'll tell you what, I don't know too many guys that throw a better deep ball than him.
He can definitely spin it. And he's playing at a high level right now, so hopefully we continue to keep it rolling and keep things going and keep getting W's.
Do you think he's underrated?
I think people know. Think people know what he brings to the table. I don't think it's underrated. I mean, Super Bowl MVP, so he can't be too much underrated. He doesn't care if he's underrated or not.
But it's almost
I'll
like
trade that ring for being called underrated.
But it's almost like we have in the media. We have to bring that up for people to realize. They say, "Oh, they had a great defense." Then no. Or better yet, Rob, what we hear all the time is Anquan Bolton made a tough catch. Well, it was a nice throw too.
That playoff run that he had,
phenomenal.
That was special.
He beat legends too along the way. I mean, he beat Peyton on the road. He beat Tom Brady on the road. I mean, what more can you ask for? The guy did everything he was supposed to. And there's a lot of great players out there, great quarterbacks that have never won a Super Bowl. So this guy has something under his belt that a lot of people can't have. And
what was that like? What was winning the Super Bowl?
You should have your ring out, man.
What was that night like?
Needed to see that.
Moments that followed that. What was that like?
It was one of a kind feeling. You always dream about playing in that game. From a little kid, the game that you talk about is the Super Bowl. So just to be there with the teammates, with the guys, and knowing what we went through that year, the ups and the downs throughout that season, that was definitely a special moment and something that you'll always remember.
I mean, is it true, though, you get a Super Bowl and now it's move on to the next one?
It's almost like as soon as you win, by the time you get back to your city, they're asking you, when is the next one going to come? I mean, and that's you want more.
Spoiled.
Winning it makes you want more. And, I mean, I applaud those teams that are able to go back-to-back and go multiple times because it takes a lot of focus and dedication to get back. So we're trying to get back and just taking it one game at a time right now.
What does it mean to you at this point to be a Raven? Because this franchise has become, not only so much of what the city is about, but it's a model franchise. And I know from working at Comcast where we are sort of split between Redskins and Ravens, way more heavily leaned towards the Redskins.
I was going to say.
And talking with Doc Walker, who won Super Bowls with the Redskins, Brian Mitchell, who's a Redskin, they all sit from afar and admire
Oh, yeah.
the franchise, the way it's run. What does it mean to put on that uniform and be a Raven at this point?
It's special. Every time you get a chance to wear that Raven on your chest, on your head, it's definitely special. Just the brotherhood that we have, those opportunities don't come around a lot. You hear guys come from other teams and tell stories about how it was where they were, and just tell them how it just
Walked around all the rooms, he started talking to all the people, and one of the guys who pretty high up in the organization said, "Welcome to the real NFL now. This is what it is." You know, and that's it. I mean, that's what the Ravens have become now. One of those elite 3 or 4 organizations where if a guy gets in those doors, he ain't leaving.
Yeah, I agree. It's definitely a top-notch organization. Everything is out of top of the class as far as the facilities, everything that we have access to over there. They make sure that everything is done right.
Thing I like about the Ravens, and the brief time I covered them, I didn't see a lot of politics. I really didn't. I saw guys played who were supposed to play. If you didn't play well, you were going to be notified of that, that you're not playing well. And you know, we're in a new situation in D.C., but just to be brutally honest, the organization from the very top is just not orchestrated the way it should be. And I don't think any of us in the media will hide that. It's a given. The proof is in the pudding. When you look at Baltimore, everyone's on the same page. And the one time this year when it was, you guys dealt with some controversy, I know a close friend of yours, it seemed like people were looking for that divide in the Ravens. And it just didn't happen, and it seems like it got glued tighter together, and you guys are winning games, through a lot of adversity. That says a lot about the organization.
Yeah, definitely. It's just something that our coach preached to us, just the brotherhood that we have there, standing up for one another and fighting for one another. I mean, you can't control every situation, but you're supposed to have your guy standing next to you, you're supposed to have their back, and that's what we do.
You guys really think you police your locker room where it doesn't even have to get to the coaches?
Definitely. A
Wow.
lot of stuff is handled inside, and that's how it should be.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a little different. With the Redskins right now. T-Sizzle. How can you best describe T-Sizzle? Because that dude is I'm not talking about, we all see him every Sunday. I'm talking about the guy in the locker room week to week.
Just one of a kind.
That's probably the best way you can put it, right?
Speak his mind, doesn't hold anything back, but he comes to work every day, and as a true professional, you can just look at how he carries himself in the locker room and just learn a lot from him.
Has he accepted? Does he want to be that guy, that next Ray Lewis, that leader of this franchise?
I don't think anybody's looking to be the next Ray Lewis or the next Ed Reed. I think collectively, it's just leadership coming from all areas of the locker room, and that's how we're going to make up for that leadership, just piecing everybody together and holding everybody accountable. If you're a rookie, I mean, you've been here long enough now where you know how things go, so you should be able to pick up the next guy and tell him what he's doing wrong or what he's doing right. So collectively, we're trying to come together and build that leadership.
This sounds almost like he's going to pull out his pocket like the script that all the Ravens read. It's amazing to me, and I can say because I'm not seeing that where I am now. It's just unbelievable for me. I mean, you guys are on the same page across the board, and you said that you guys police yourselves. It's no coincidence you're winning. Bottom line, I mean, I think if you look at this team that you battle every year in your division in Pittsburgh, you look at New England, you look at the Colts now, you look at Denver. I think it goes without question that those are the together locker rooms. Those are the guys that are really pulling for each other, not to play over somebody because you feel like you're better than them. You want that person to do well if they are playing. That says a lot about the organization as a whole. So, look, before we let you go, I'm going to put you on the spot here. 5-2 right now. What should the fans hear? How many Ravens fans we have here in the building? Okay, there we go. That's all right. What can these fans tonight expect for you guys going forward? I think I already know what he's going to answer to.
I mean, our goal is just to be 1-0 each week. So, I mean, we can't really look.
John Harbaugh wrote that down.
I'm telling you, it's amazing.
Right out of the John Harbaugh textbook.
Yeah, I mean, 1-0 each week. We can't really look ahead. We have to take the game on. We have 2 big games coming up, but more importantly, this one against Cincinnati is real big, going into Cincinnati. So, can't really predict the season, but like I said, our goal is 1-0 each week.
That was a boring answer, man. But I mean, I'll
That's the
take it
Ravens.
because
Boring and winning.
That's that when they say play like a Raven, be a Raven. That's what it is. Don't give your opponent any bulletin board stuff. You don't want them saying, man, Tyrod Taylor said on Sports Journey that blah, blah, blah. You're not going to hear that. I will say this, though. You're catching Cincinnati. They're a little down right now, and you kind of owe them one.
They still want to be Cincinnati.
He wrote that down, too. I can't get him. I can't get him to do it. So
we know those guys in and out just like they know us. So it's always going to be a tough game when you're playing those guys.
Tough division. This division is even Cleveland now is playing good football. And every time they play you guys, there's history now with the city, so they're going to always be up for that Ravens game. Needless to say, Steelers-Ravens, I'm going to say it. I think it's the best rivalry in football because San Fran and Seattle's too new. Seattle, Super Bowl hangover a little bit. You guys won a Super Bowl. It just happens. You guys were a young team. New pieces in place after you won your Super Bowl. I remember that first game against Denver, and I just thought it was totally disrespectful, the fact that you won the Super Bowl and played your first game on the road. That was crazy. So you know how that goes. But look, folks, we've got to take a break. We've got another segment coming up. We'll have Chris Thompson come back on with Rob and myself. Tyrod, I want to thank you personally for coming on.
I appreciate it.
You could have given me some more juicy answers, man, but he did it the Ravens way,
folks. Got to get T-Sizzle for that. He'll say his truth.
That's right, folks. So, again, we'll take a quick break. When we come back, more from here. Sports Journey, you can go to sportsjourney.com. In 48 hours, watch this full TV broadcast set up. So, want to thank our guys here who are doing a great job, Steph and CJ, doing camera work, a lot of good stuff here. So, we'll take a break. We'll be right back.
If you're disabled and unable to work, pay attention to the following message.
If you're one of the millions of Americans who are disabled and unable to work, you may be entitled to disability benefits through Social Security. Receiving benefits is your right if you suffer from a physical or mental disability. Whether you're applying for the first time or you've already been denied, we can help. You'll be matched up with an advocate who will evaluate your situation, handle your application, deal with Social Security for you, and handle all appeals. Best of all, there's no fee until you receive your benefits. To get started, call the number on your screen now. And keep in mind, there are a vast number of conditions that make you eligible for disability benefits and dozens of additions that you may not be aware of. So if you're disabled and unable to work, call the Citizens Disability Helpline today for a free, no-obligation consultation.
Call 1-800-735-0219. Call now.
Are getting ready to head out. If you haven't had a chance to take a picture or get an autograph, Tyrod Taylor, quarterback for the Ravens. Appreciate him coming on. Obviously, Heather Saffield, GM here at Champs Americana, and also Mr. Curtis Etherly from Coca-Cola. Still on the set with myself is Rob Carlin from Comcast Sportsnet. And now we have Chris Thompson back on with this Redskins, a running back. Now we can talk some Redskins. Different approach now, obviously. We've got one of the younger guys, a guy that, a lot of fans are still learning about Chris Thompson. Guy that had a great career in Florida State. And, in talking with Jay Gruden all throughout training camp and even now in the season, he sounds to me like he has plans for you. Do you get that same sentiment as well?
Yeah, I do, and just every day, just trying to go out and work, and just show Coach Gruden whenever he needs me, whenever he wants to call my name, that I'm ready, and I'm just mentally just trying to stay focused. It's tough sometimes. Just you being on the practice squad, you're not playing, so it's easy for guys to just come in every day and just focus on what we have to do as far as just we just have to look at cards,
right?
And and just try to simulate the other players, but I'm also staying in our playbook too, because I never know what's going to happen each and every game. Injuries could come up, or maybe coach just decides one day, one of these Tuesdays, are you ready? We want to bring you up.
It's coming sooner than later. It's coming sooner than later. And you've had a chance on the practice squad. You were in 53 last year. I don't look at you being on the practice squad as one of those situations where you weren't performing. Mm-hmm. It was clearly a situation where you've had a nagging ankle injury. They wanted to make sure that thing was healed. And let's face it, Silas played well in preseason. They didn't want to risk, not having either one of you guys, So I see where they went with that, and I think most fans were happy that happened. My question to you is this, though. You hear guys all the time say it's tough. You just said it as far as practice squad, things of that nature. But you're getting a chance to do some scout squad stuff, and, there were times you had a chance to play, LaShawn McCoy, Darren Sproles when, the week they were playing the Eagles. That has to show the coaches a different look with you at the same time.
Yeah, and I think it does, and I have so much fun doing it, man. I promise I do, and and I also getting prepared throughout the weeks. I look at film on these running backs, and just to watch how they play, and Shady, he's more of a real patient running back.
Yeah.
So I think I was doing a pretty good job at simulating that well, and like guys like Arakpo and a few of the linebackers, just kept telling me keep giving them a good look, because I was doing a pretty good job at it. But at the same time, I'm working on my craft also, and just talking to Silas Red, because he helps me out too, and I've just been telling him that I pay attention to all of the other great running backs around the league. Although we do have one of the best. I look at all the other running backs and just look at how they run the ball, and and I learned from a lot of them. Arian Foster is one of my favorite, probably my favorite running back right now. But I take something from all of these guys, and just enjoy it every day.
Everyone hears about the practice squad, and it's sort of this world off to the side that no one really understands the life. I don't really understand the life of a practice player. What's it like for you? Because here you were from Florida State, big time player in college, and you come in, literally the day-to-day life. And I'm not even just talking about the cards and the simulating Shady. Mm-hmm. I'm talking about the going to sleep at night, not knowing, the sort of living on the fringe of the NFL, and I don't mean that in any disrespect. What is that like for you?
Sometimes it's tough for me, to be honest. I was just talking to a guy a few minutes ago, just telling him how every Saturday now, it's like I go into this depressed state as soon as I leave the facility. It just tears me down on the inside, that knowing that my teammates, they're going out, either headed to the hotel or going to get on the airplane, getting ready to play a game on Sunday, and I'm just sitting at home watching, and it eats at me up until Wednesday comes around and we're practicing again, and that's kind of when it erases from my mind, and it's tough just you put in a lot of work during the week also, and it's a lot of work on the body, and we have a workout on Saturday that's pretty tough also, and
it's a dumb rule.
It's a journey, and it's different for me because once my sophomore year hit in college, I was the guy, other than the injuries and everything. So it's a different transition for me.
I think it's a dumb rule the NFL has, frankly. I mean, these guys are out there every day getting beat up, and getting beat up a little bit more. Let's be honest,
And depth issues are an issue on every team.
Absolutely. So these guys are the ones that are really taking the punches, so to speak. Let's face it, you're not going to have Alfred run 50
Right.
times in practice,
Right.
So
Yeah.
a lot of that turns on now to Chris and Silas. But if you're the NFL, if these guys are on the team, they're getting paid still, they're getting beat up still, why would you not let them come to their facility during a game?
Is that something you guys talk about amongst the guys in the practice? Obviously you want to be there on game day, but is it something you guys talk about?
Yeah, we talk about it, and I think that's one thing that bothers us all is, we put in a lot of the work, and then on those Saturdays, we we know that we're not doing anything, on Saturday and Sunday. It eats us all up, and if we have any player that it doesn't bother, then they don't need to be playing ball anymore. It's just simple as that.
A couple games that I didn't go to travel with, I watched the game with him in my house, and you should see the fire. I mean, they're they want to be out there, and I just think that, again, the NFL does a lot of things well, but they do some things that aren't so well too. That's a no-brainer. If you're part of the team, you should travel with the team. You should be there. Like you said, you helped Silas out. Silas Red told us when he made the team, I told you specifically, he gave you a lot of credit for helping him, and there was no competition there. These guys were pulling for each other. They're a tight-knit group. What's the deal with the running backs? I even see it after practice every now and then when we've had a chance to see it, the limited amount of time. You guys pray. Is that just a daily ritual, or what is that?
Yeah, it's a daily thing. We do it every single day. It was new to me. Well, not really new. My running back coach in college, we did it before practice. But, it's just a thing we do. We do after every practice, and we do it before every game. And you were talking about Silas, how he gave a lot of thanks to me and everything, but we're a tight-knit group, man. We love each other. We just want the best from each other, and those guys ask me every single week, have they moved you up yet? And even Darrell Young, he said to me a couple weeks ago, he was like, man, I forgot you were even on practice squad. It's
see,
that's just how we are.
Those are the more stories, Rob, that we need to hear about, at Redskins Park, because unfortunately we get some of the chaos, and sometimes the chaos is brought to us in the media when we didn't seek it out. but at the end of the day, we don't hear a lot of that as far as groups and guys, because to me it does seem like a fractured locker room. I know you're not going to sit here and say, yeah, it is, but you see things with your own eyes. I just don't see, having covered the flip side of, we talked about the Ravens, you see it. It's apparent, and you heard it from one of their players. It was cliche conversation, but you know where that's coming from. I don't see that right now, and I know it's got to be tough for you coming from Florida State, where you've enlightened me to that program. I covered them for years, and I thought that it was a little shady. I really did. He's like, no way. These guys are pushed to go to class, get their degrees. I've listened to guys, and it's been pretty impressive from what I've seen. So has it been that tough for you to make this transition, especially this is all you know as a pro?
Yeah, it's been very tough. A lot of the, Florida State guys, we were all from Florida for the most part. We have guys from Texas and Maryland, come in here and there.
Maryland?
But we all, yeah.
Did you say Maryland?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because the Terps couldn't get him. I know. I got it.
He thinks there's no football here. I'm sorry. I just had to say that.
But no, So and Coach Fisher, he that's one of his biggest things is making sure his guys just over time become close, tight knit as a family, and just keeping each other accountable. I can think back my senior year, junior and senior year when Devontae Freeman and James Wilder came in. My running back coach, Eddie Grant at the time, he told me, "I'm gonna put a lot of this on you to help these guys." He was like, I want you to help coach them up. I want you to do this and that. Just help them along the way. And it's things like that help us become closer. EJ does the same thing with Jameis still to this day. Talking to him all the time. I try to keep in touch with Devontae and James. Still to this day, and every time I talk to them, by the end of the conversation, they're thanking me for helping them out, and it's just things like that, and I think it's just different now because everybody comes from a different background. Everything it's different now, man, and I'm just trying to get used to the transition, and I think it may be something in every single NFL locker room, but. It's just completely different for me. Something I have to get used to, or something that's gonna have to change.
Eddie Grant, when I was in Birmingham, coach at Auburn, Cornell Williams, Ronnie Brown, Brandon Jacobs came along, so he knew a little something about coaching running backs. So now, I work at Comcast Sportsnet, and we've been talking now for about 7-8 minutes, and contractually we have to now talk about Robert Griffin III because we just have to. I work at Comcast. That's what we do. So besides that, you're not a doctor, you're not a coach. We don't know when he'll be back on the field. But what has it been like for you? Look, you're at Florida State. You're at the highest level. But this phenomenon with this kid in Washington, D.C., and everything that goes around, literally every step he takes, what's it been like in the locker room around that franchise sort of following him?
It's crazy, man. I thought at Florida State it was crazy. With Greg Reed at the time, my first couple years, it was just, Greg Reed was that guy. When I got here and saw how it was with RG3, I was like, man, this is ridiculous. To me, it just seems like he can't really have a life, just can't go out in public and things like that, which, when you think about the money he's making, it sounds good, but,
Would you trade that? If you couldn't go out but you had that money, would you? You don't go out anyway.
But, but me, I would love to have the money, but also just
me too.
Just me being who I am. I think I would still go out in public. I wouldn't care. Just because of where I'm from, where I grew up. I just knew what it was like for me to want to meet an NFL player. I never thought it would happen. So you just never know, just going out in public, who you're gonna meet, who life you'll impact, things like that. So nothing against Griff, because he has a lot of other stuff going on, and I don't know anything about his personal life, but it's crazy for him, and sometimes, to be honest with you, I just feel bad for him. Just everything he has to deal with. He can't watch SportsCenter almost every day because he's coming up, something's coming up of,
it's going to be coming up on Wednesday.
Is he that guy? It's just so much, man. I feel bad for him, but I see him every single day, and it comes with the territory, and I think he's handling it better now than maybe he was before.
I told you before, you take a couple to the house when your opportunity comes, and you watch how things change for you real quick. That's just how it is, especially in D.C. I mean, the one thing about Redskins fans, and I'm from the area, Redskins fans will turn on you real quick. You will love you 1 second, and they will just burn you in effigy in another way too. So, and we've seen that with Robert. We saw people saying, "Oh, they wanted Kirk Cousins as a quarterback." Kurt had a couple of bad games. People couldn't stand Kirk Cousins. Now they love Colt McCoy. I mean, it goes with the territory.
What's that like for you guys when you hear all of this? First off, do you hear all this? And secondly, how do you all collectively deal with when you know every day the wind's going to blow in a whole new direction?
Well, now we try to keep the TVs off in the in the facility because we know what's out there. We're surrounded by televisions down in our eating area, so we see so much, and it's just so much going on, and we try our hardest to block it out, but it's only so much blocking out you can do, to be honest with you. But I don't think it affects the guys at all. At least I hope it doesn't.
Shame on you, Rob.
Yeah. We're to blame, yes. I know. Ryan Clark told me. I know.
Did you sense this week? It was a different vibe in the locker room. It was almost like, for the first time, this is my third year covering the Skins. I haven't been there the last 2 years. But the previous 2 years I was there, I never sensed a general dislike by the players against the media as it was this week. And I know a lot of these guys, and I couldn't even talk to them. I'm like, man, it's like that. So did you sense that, Rob?
Did I sense that? Yeah, we got yelled at by Ryan Clark for 10 minutes.
We had to walk outside the gate, by the way. You wouldn't even let us park inside.
It was one of the weirder weeks of covering any team I've ever had last week.
It was wild.
What'd you think when you heard? And now I feel bad. Now we're just like sort of piling on bad news. But what'd you think when you heard about Brian Arakpo and the torn pec, and he's now done for the year?
I felt so bad for him. I don't know how many sacks he's had so far, but could have had a whole lot more.
A half.
Yeah. Well, I feel bad for him in that regard because I look at film and I see every single time he could have had a lot more sacks, but gets held every time. The call it gets called every now and then, but
I'll give you that. I'll give you that, definitely.
This was, I guess, his contract year, and I'm sure he needed to play well and needed to play out the season and everything. And I just feel bad. It's an unfortunate situation for him now, but it's here. It's something he has to deal with. It's something the team has to deal with. So, all he can do is focus on getting better at this point.
I got another question for you. Interested here because you're a speed guy. Have you raced Deshaun Jackson yet?
I haven't, and I will not.
You will not? You don't want any part of that?
No.
Really? Is he that fast?
Yes, he is.
There's one guy on the team that you hear stories about, and you don't really get a chance to see it a lot, obviously, in the games because he's not in there a whole lot. But everyone talks about Aldrick and that he really could be the guy.
Faster than Deshaun?
I think him and Deshaun may be real close. Deshaun is faster, but I think Aldrick is real close. I may think about racing Aldrick if he'll give me like a 1 to 2 yard start. But Aldrick and Deshaun, I won't try it. I'll try anybody else, though.
That touchdown against Arizona, the Cardinals.
Yeah.
The Cardinals, when he caught that little slant.
A little bit,
and pulled away from Patrick Peterson, who is no slouch.
Absolutely.
Pulled away. It was one of those where I was like,
Deshaun had an initial burst that is, I don't know if it's rivaled in the league. Maybe you talk about over distance, somebody may be faster, but those initial 5, 6, 7 yards, it's like he's out of there on you. And if you notice, he's letting up when he gets to the end zone.
Because he's turning around to celebrate backwards. Yeah,
that's when you know you're fast, when you can turn around and just walk backwards, knowing that nobody's behind you. And I think a young guy that I'll call out right now, I don't know how good he's doing, but I think Dre Archer could be that type of guy.
I was at the Combines this year, and I kept saying to myself, who in the world is this kid? And he stood out to me. He was probably one of the 4 or 5 most dominant receivers there. And I will pat myself on the back because I did say that the Ravens, the kid from Wake Forest, who's from the area, by the way.
Michael Campanaro?
Campanaro. You remember I asked you, I said, who's this Campanaro kid? Because he played against him.
Yeah.
He was dominant at the combines, but Dre Archer was just – his 40 was like he shot out of a cannon.
I covered Campanaro a couple of games. He played at River Hill right here and then torched Maryland one game. And, he's legit. He's the real deal.
Got a nice find here.
That's interesting, though, with Deshaun. You will not race him.
No, I won't.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah, but you know what, though? It makes me laugh, all this talk about, is Deshaun a good blocker? And who cares if he's a good
I don't want him blocking.
I didn't bring him here to block.
On every play, even if it's a running play, you make it look like you're going deep. I don't want him. I mean, he's a small guy. Let's
Jay
just
said
call
that
it
last
what
week.
it is.
Jay, we asked him about blocking, and Jay Gruden said it's a block. He's just little.
He's little.
It was the one play. I think it was a screen to Andre Roberts, and look, he didn't block.
Yeah.
But why are you putting him out there on a 3rd and 2 and having that guy block?
You got to go to the other side where Pierre's on the other side, where he'll lay some lumber on someone. So, look, guys, we've gone over a little bit here, and we've got to get ready to wrap it up. But again, we've had a lot of help with this. Steph and CJ again did a great job filming this and keeping everything under control. I want to thank the good folks here at Champs Americana. Food was great. You knocked down a whole rib. That's crazy. Food was great. I know there's some fans here, wanting to watch the Steelers game. So we'll wrap it up, get out of here. Rob Carlin, my friend, as always, appreciate
Thank you very much for having me.
Coming on out, and see you on Wednesday. And it's going to be a circus, whether you like it or not. It's going to be a circus at Redskins Park because we're going to talk about Robert possibly playing Monday night in Dallas against
Colt
the Cowboys. I know Colt wants to play back in Texas, but it looks to me like it's going to be Robert. I truly feel that way.
It'll be Colt McCoy.
You heard that here. We'll see who's right. He'll be ducking you in the locker room, but that's a whole nother story. So, look, folks, we've got to wrap it up. Hope you had a great time. Enjoy the game. Enjoy your food. Have a great night.
When you have credit card debt, the debt suckers' high rate and high pay are everywhere.
Ooh, they're making another minimum payment. Great. Most of the money goes to us. We'll suck the life out of them.
Because your credit card rates are so high, you can't get rid of the debt suckers alone.
Their minimum payments are in vain. Oh, that's juicy.
But one call to Consolidated Credit can get the debt suckers off your neck.
Thank you for calling Consolidated Credit.
Oh no, they lower his rates and consolidate his bills into one low payment. He'll pay off his debt in no time. Consolidated Credit drives us batty.
Call Consolidated Credit now. Call now and get your life back.
Oh, because debt sucks.
Call now.
Call Consolidated Credit at 1-800-599-8702. 1-800-599-8702. That's 1-800-599-8702. Call now.
Do you want whiter teeth in 5 minutes? Then you want Power Swabs, the clinically proven way to instantly have bright white teeth in just 5 minutes. Coffee, tea, or smoking stains are no match for Power Swabs. The secret is a tooth detergent developed by Dr. Martin Ginniger that lifts yellow stains off of your teeth in just 5 minutes, revealing a bright white smile. Power Swabs are clinically proven to whiten your teeth on average 2 shades whiter in just 5 minutes. After 7 days, your teeth will be on average 6 shades whiter, guaranteed. Order today and you can try Power Swabs risk-free. Power Swabs even work on caps, crowns, veneers, and bonding, so all your teeth will be movie star white.
With just one treatment, I saw what I want my smile to look like. I saw the brightness that should be there when I smile.
I love to laugh. I'm a very happy person, and with Power Swabs, I get the white smile that I want.
Call or go online right now to try Power Swabs absolutely risk-free. So you must order now. Get your teeth whiter in just 5 minutes with Power Swabs. Call to try Power Swabs risk-free now.